Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to our travels on board IMPI, the friendly catamaran. So you will recall our sail down from New Caledonia to New Zealand, where we departed in a strong southeasterly, sailing close to the wind in somewhat uncomfortable conditions. And of course, our heroes on the ship Medina, who supplied us with additional diesel free of charge. Our sunrise at sea, and of course, our arrival to the beautiful Bay of Islands right here in New Zealand. And it is in this bay where IMPI has spent the last while restocking, doing some repairs and maintenance, and of course cruising from island to island. So the locals describe the Bay of Islands as the cradle of the nation. For at this very spot where you see the flag mast, the Waitangi Treaty was signed between the Maori tribes and the Europeans. So where is Waitangi? IMPI was at the marina in Opua seen in red and Waitangi seen in white with a blue cross. Here in the bay the currents flow pretty strongly, so one wants to try and make use of them. The passage meant heading to the town of Pahia, where we dropped anchor at first. Pahia is a quaint little town where tourists bustle to catch the ferry to Russell across the bay. Everywhere one looks in this little town, there is artwork to be seen. What are you discovering there? We also found a great shop to take supplies for IMPI. The store called Countdown proved to be of good value and full of fresh supplies. Here is the propeller from ship Her Majesty's New Zealand Service Canterbury, commissioned 22 October 1971, decommissioned 31 March 2005, sank 3rd of November 2007. The hull now lies at 32 meters in Deepwater Cove at Cape Breton. And loaded here with our groceries, it is time to head back for IMPI. The following morning, we lowered the dinghy for a ride to the mouth of the Waitangi River, where we tied to a jetty at the Waitangi Yacht Club.
This is a waka, man. Look how beautiful this is. Is this a traditional Maori boat?
It's a traditional design
Polynesian
vessel.
Polynesian, okay. Yeah. Very nice, eh?
Yeah. But we use modern composite today. We use the fiberglass hull due to the fact it's a lot more sturdier.
Yeah.
Just due to the fact that with wood we can't do what we do here, where we leave it out all throughout the season.
Yeah.
We'd have to pull it out every now and then.
Fantastic.
And from here, a 15-minute walk up the road sees one arrive at the Waitangi Treaty grounds.
Good day, good day. Thanks for having us here. Hey man, you're looking strong. This is why the All Blacks beat us. Look at the size of these guys, man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, stay tuned folks. This guy sure puts on a good show. Yeah, so in Maori tradition, when one passes through the legs of this goddess, you enter the womb and you are safe. Nothing can touch you. Here one starts with an interesting movie describing the signed Treaty of Waitangi.
From when it was first created to this very day, the treaty has bound the peoples of this nation together in a sometimes testing relationship.
And from the movie, one heads towards the treaty grounds.
Oh, this is nice, huh?
It's beautiful.
An interesting walkway takes one through treetops toward the treaty grounds, where a flagstaff marks the exact spot where the treaty was signed.
On the 6th day of February 1840 was signed the Treaty of Waitangi, under which New Zealand became part of the British Empire.
2 treaties were signed here, one in Maori and one in English language. The 2 versions conflicted, with the Maori version stating that the governor would govern here to govern the people who came from England and who lived here, and that the treaty would guarantee the rights of the Maori fully, unconditionally to rule themselves, the forests, fisheries and other aspects of their land. They say it was rewritten in the English version that the English have the right to govern the people, and all the assets of the land would be included within the government system. This is fundamentally why the 2 do not match and where the argument is today. And here we have the Treaty House, which originally was known as the Residency. It is where James Busby conducted much of his official business as the British Governor's representative in New Zealand from 1833 to 1840. The carved meeting house, Te Wara Runanga, the House of Assembly, was a concept proposed as a Maori contribution to the centenary celebrations. It was opened on 6 February 1940, 100 years after the treaty was signed, and stands side by side with Treaty House, symbolizing the partnership agreed between Maori and the British Crown. Today there was a show taking place.
3, 4, 5, 4, 1, 2, yeah! 3, 4.
Once inside, we are treated to a fantastic traditional show of warrior dancing. We are free to take photos. Not sure about video, so I can only show brief clips here, but still one gets the idea. We would seriously recommend folks to come on down to Waitangi Treaty Grounds to pay the additional 20 New Zealand dollars for a spectacular demonstration of Maori dancing throughout the ages.
No, love, not you.
Yes, even Anna had become addicted to tongue pulling. Oh man, what is a man to do? There is so much history here, it is impossible to share all with you. So guys, visit Waitangi Treaty Grounds. It's a real treat. Yeah, and before I get to mention it, do not forget to visit the Waka House near Te Ana o Makikuku, which is Hobson's Beach, that shelters the iwi Ngupi's ceremonial war canoe called the Gatoki Mata wa Orua, the world's largest at 35 meters. This canoe needs a minimum of 76 paddlers to handle it safely on the water. It weighs roughly 6 tons when dry and 12 tons when saturated. It is seriously a beautiful piece of art. Work on this canoe began in 1937 and it was finally launched in 1940. Yeah, and after the Queen's voyage on this canoe, she designated it Her Majesty's ship, which makes the Waka part of her Royal Navy. Time to move on though, and leaving Pahia directly across the bay, one finds a delightful little town called Russell. Russell was New Zealand's capital in 1840, and it was once known as the hellhole of the Pacific because of the aggressive lifestyle of the local whalers, traders and visiting seamen of those years.
Hey dude, where's the eye patch, man?
I got two.
Yeah, I love it.
This Moreton Bay fig tree was planted by the first Collector of Customs, Mr. E.B. Lang, who served from 1870 to 1886.
This tree is from 1870.
Now this historic building is the local police station of old, designed by W.H. Clayton, the colonial architect, in the late 1860s. First occupied in 1870, it served as a customs house until the 1890s. It became a police station during the early 1900s. Here one sees the local Baptist church, but the church I am interested in visiting is the historic Anglican church.
Yeah, so this is the Anglican church, and going way back when is the church where people shot bullets into it, and you know, the wild whalers and seamen of those years. And of course Russell was known as the Hell, so you can only imagine the task that the minister had before him in this church here. And what we're seeing here, guys, is actually New Zealand's oldest cemetery. Anna was just saying to me that she's been looking through all these tombstones, and she says that so many people died from drowning from those years, and it just goes to show how rough the waters are in this part of the world. In loving memory, Hannah King Letheridge, the first white woman born in New Zealand, born on Oi Bay of Islands, January 1816, died the 14th of April 1907 at 91 years of age. Her granddaughter is also buried here, who drowned off Te Puna. And yeah, I know you were just saying that so many of these graves, these tombs, have people who have drowned,
No,
right?
that's a tiny little boy there. This one, Alexander. He's not even 5 yet.
Alexander MacLeod, who was drowned February the 26th, 1883, aged 4 years and 10 months. Some bullet holes from those days.
Yeah, I guess visiting graveyards is always a sobering reminder of why we need to live our lives, man. Anna always says to folks that if you do what you always did, you will get what you always got. So change things if you want something different.
Yeah, so this is an old whaling boat that took a 6-man crew, and that they used to go and harpoon whales in. I'm not sure where Sea Shepherd was in those years, but you can just see, I mean, this boat is really old, and you wonder how people actually fought or killed whales from such a tiny vessel.
This whaleboat, the Tutanaka'i, was built in the late 1800s. When whaling declined, it was used as a utility ferry, and by 1910 a motor was attached and became a school bus ferry, ferrying children across the Bay of Islands to school. It also made supply runs here to Russell, as there were no shops in Russell until the 1930s.
It's beautiful here, love. This really is a beautiful little town. It's really steeped in history and just beautiful. See this cannon there?
I know, it's really nice. I like the little wheels. Look at it, like a little toy truck.
The little wheels.
Anna and I have visited Russell on more than one occasion. It is one of those little towns where history and tales of yesteryear greet one at every turn. The town has been beautifully preserved in such a fashion as to take one back in time, a relaxing yet entertaining spot to be here in the beautiful Bay of Islands.
That's where we tie up the dinghy, right there.
Okay, from Russell, let's go check out the island where Captain Cook first landed in 1769 after leaving England. Motuaroa, known to us as Roberton Island, must be one of our favourite visits in all of the Bay of Islands. And marked in red is the spot where IMPI was anchored here for a few days. Yeah, and as we sat here at anchor, we were transported back in time as Captain Cook arrived, this time bringing along with him a few tourists. New Zealand's All Black rugby team had just defeated Australia after beating South Africa in the previous match.
Wow, we're gonna come really. Hey, well done!
Well done! We were hoping you'd beat Australia after you beat us, eh? I took my South African flag down. Jeez, embarrassing, eh? Well done, guys.
Hey!
This was a great spot to do maintenance to the boat as well.
Well, we have to replace the reefing line on our sail. This one's finally said goodbye. Here's the new one. Luckily we carry spares. I'm quite a lazy sort of guy, so I know a lot of people do all sorts of threading to join the two ends together and that. But being lazy, I take a soldering iron. Yeah, and I simply just burn a hole. Burn a hole in the end of the rope like that. And I do likewise on the other one. Right, and there's a nice hole through each end of the rope. I take a needle with some thread on it and through each end, a nice thickish sort of thread, and I simply tie this off so that the two ends are sort of together. Right, and that's it. I'm going to pull the one rope out which pulls the other rope in. Got the rope this way. Just by using the soldering iron, it makes it quite easy. It's been there since South Africa. That's been going into year 5 now, so first time we've replaced this rope. And I guess I could stitch it up, but you know, I'd rather just put a new one on.
Yeah, we really believe in preventative maintenance. So many friends say sailing is all about repairing boats in exotic destinations, so we opt for a balance by continuously replacing old for new. This keeps the workload to a pleasurable level, where it is nice to have the odd project to do. Anyway, let's get the dinghy down and go and discover this island, huh?
Yeah, so they call this the Twin Lagoon Bay. It's like a nickname for it. Basically because two of these lagoon areas, these small lagoons here, sort of exist in this one bay. We'll take a little cruise to the other one. We looked at them yesterday when they were dry, and really beautiful when you come here and it's high tide. You know, you've just got this narrow little spit over here. And somebody really has a fantastic house there at the end. I mean, what a place to be living, hey guys. It's just like a dream, you know. And this is also the cool thing about sailing, you know, your yacht becomes your home, and you can pretty much choose anywhere in the world to place a new backyard at your home. Yeah, and so we've chosen to make this our backyard just for a few days.
Okay, so while we look at footage of this island, let me get into the history of it a little bit as we have learnt it. Lieutenant James Cook was the first European to set foot in the Bay of Islands. On 29 November 1769, he rowed ashore accompanied by crew. One crew member, Joseph Banks, who was a botanist, recorded in his journal the following, and it's in Old English. He says, "Now parted from the ship, not a canoe stirred, which we judged a good sign. But no sooner had we set foot on shore that every canoe put off. We were in a moment surrounded. I fired a musket loaded with small shot at one of the forwardest of them, and Mr. Banks and two other men fired immediately thereafter. This made them retire back a little, but in less than a minute one of the chiefs rallied them again. Dr. Solander, seeing this, gave him a peppering with a small shot, which sent him off." Cook's journal recorded the following. "It was only after the Endeavour fired a few shots over the heads that the Maori dispersed. When we were in quiet possession of our cove, we laid down our arms and began to gather celery, which grew here in great plenty." It is recorded that the Maori, realizing that Cook would not harm them unless they attacked, put aside their weapons and allowed the shore party to explore the island in peace. On 6 December 1769, Cook left the bay to continue his circumnavigation of the North Island. Okay, so you saw this photo earlier on. It was taken on this island with the iPad, taken by Anna. Let's go to that particular day when we took this photograph.
Oh man, they make us climb. The view is beautiful. And we were on the other side of this island last night, which is Motorua Island. And we sailed all the way around there into this cove, and there IMPI is.
Yeah, and this island is also the scene which led to the first execution under British law in New Zealand. In 1841, a European man, a woman, and 3 children were murdered here by a native who was subsequently tried and hung in Auckland. Right, so some folks say my videos are too short, whilst others say they are too long. We can't possibly share all the islands with you that we have visited. So let me wrap this up with a visit to the islands around the well-known French navigator Marion Dufresne. So let's leave Roberton Island seen to the left and move across to the right of the photograph to an island called Motorua. Here X marks a spot where IMPI anchored for a few days, a bay known as Waiwapuku Bay. So here IMPI has just arrived and we are dropping anchor in roughly 3 meters of water. So this is the island where well-known French navigator Marion Dufresne set up a hospital camp and also a refitting center for the boat. Bummer, man, and the sun has now disappeared on us, so
It's got a little overcast here. But it's still beautiful, and we want to walk around the island.
I must say, this island has well-maintained trails and is incredibly beautiful, with amazing views over the entire bay.
Nice white
It's a beautiful bay here, man. This is an amazing island, hey love? It's really
Yeah,
beautiful, this.
I can't wait till these flowers are all open.
All these flowers, that they're like getting ready to blossom here.
Here, and after a steep climb, one also comes across a World War II bunker complete with dugout trenches, which obviously was built to look over and protect the territory here.
Yeah. Hey, you dug into the trenches there?
Marion Dufresne, within the same year of setting up a hospital camp and refitment centre on Motorua, set sail for a bay which today is known as Assassination Bay. Here Dufresne violated the instructions of the Maori people to treat the area within a cove called Tuhui as being taboo since some of their fishermen had drowned here, and the area was now considered to them as sacred. Dufresne and his crew were assassinated by the people within this little cove, hence its name today, Assassination Cove, within the Greater Bay now known as Assassination Bay. The Bay of Islands is both beautiful and interesting, bringing both an element of history and fascination to the visiting sailor who feels transported back into the history of time.